The once-in-a-century Chinese Great Tournament has finally begun. As the most prestigious and competitive elimination tournament in martial arts today, the Chinese Great Tournament attracts top fighters from all over the world. Even the strongest creature on earth, Yuujiro Hanma, has traveled all the way from Japan to participate, aiming to claim the title of KO. The arena is packed to the brim with spectators, all curious to see who will face off in the first match. However, when the lineup is revealed, many believe it will be a boring fight. This is because the legendary Liu Kao's opponent is Yuujiro Hanma. Though Yuujiro is renowned in the martial arts world, he is relatively unknown in China. So, the organizers decide to test Yuujiro's true strength. They prepare 40 tiles, as it's said that a strong martial artist can break 10 tiles in one strike. Yuujiro smiles slightly, considering it a boring game, just a warm-up exercise. With a slight exertion, he raises his hand and chops down, smashing all 40 tiles into pieces in an instant. Yuujiro's display of power shocks the entire audience and earns Liu Kao's recognition. Liu Kao slowly removes his robe, revealing his muscular physique. The battle between the two is about to begin. Liu Kao takes a deep breath and makes the first move. Unexpectedly, Yuujiro is faster, thrusting one hand deep into Liu Kao's face. The intense pain makes Liu Kao tremble all over as he prepares to counterattack. But Yuujiro's brutal methods are unmatched. With a pull and a yank, he slams Liu Kao to the ground, leaving him unconscious. Yuujiro then rips off Liu Kao's facial skin with his bare hands and casually throws it into the audience. After defeating Liu Kao in a single move, Yuujiro prepares to leave the arena, but Kao Retsu cannot accept this outcome and steps forward to challenge Yuujiro. Just as the two are about to clash, the heavily injured Liu Kao drags his battered body to stop Kao Retsu. He refuses to let anyone interfere in his fight. As he is still standing, Liu Kao throws a towel to distract Yuujiro and then leaps into the air with a kick. Unfortunately, Yuujiro easily dodges it and counters with a whip kick, shattering Liu Kao's skull. Liu Kao collapses and loses consciousness, thus ending the first match of the Great Tournament with Yuujiro Hanma's complete victory. The second match of the once-in-a-century Chinese Great Tournament pits Alai Jr. against the giant Chu Kao. Before the battle, Koju, who had previously met Alai Jr., comes to cheer him on. In their conversation, Koju mentions Baki's injuries, and Alai Jr. learns of Baki's grim fate. Alai Jr. gently comforts Koju, making her cry, and he seizes the moment to hold her in his arms. Koju is startled by Alai Jr.'s actions but does not resist. The scene shifts as Alai Jr. steps onto the battlefield to face the 3-meter-tall giant, Chu Kao. As the match begins, Chu Kao makes the first move, using his massive size to try and stomp Alai Jr. to death. Despite his shorter stature, Alai Jr. is incredibly strong and lands a high kick right on Chu Kao's vital point. The excruciating pain in his groin brings Chu Kao to the ground. In just 3 seconds, the fight seems to have ended dramatically, but Chu Kao, enduring the pain, stands up again. As the host, he cannot allow himself to be humiliated on home ground. With renewed confidence, Chu Kao launches a series of ferocious attacks at Alai Jr. However, no matter how tricky Chu Kao's attacks were, Alai Jr. always found an opening to dodge them easily. This was all thanks to Alai Jr.'s speed advantage. His small stature allowed him to move like a fish in water against the towering Chu Kao. Poor Chu Kao could only vent his anger into the air. In contrast, Alai Jr. seized the moment and landed a powerful punch, knocking Chu Kao down instantly. At this moment, the gong sounded again, marking Alai Jr.'s victory in the second match. With 2 KOs defeated consecutively, the pressure on everyone else increased significantly. However, the main event of the tournament was next: Liu Kao versus the world's strongest high schooler, Baki. Now, the pressure was on Liu Kao. If he were to lose on his home ground, it would undoubtedly be the greatest humiliation in history. Fortunately, Liu Kao's opponent was the critically ill Baki, so victory seemed certain for Liu Kao. As soon as the match began, Baki rushed forward and landed a whipping kick that knocked Liu Kao to the ground. However, this seemingly perfect strike would be the harbinger of Baki's downfall. Liu Kao had mastered the art of the poison hand, using rare ingredients and secret methods to refine his skills over decades. Any living being that even slightly touched it would die instantly. When Baki knocked Liu Kao down, his ankle was tainted by the deadly poison. Death seemed only a matter of time. But just when Liu Kao thought victory was his, Baki did something shocking. He raised his foot and bit into the swollen blister, spitting out the poison-laced blood. Though this couldn't completely neutralize the poison, it was the most effective immediate remedy. Seeing Baki temporarily escape death, Lee Kao decided not to prolong the fight. He extended his right hand, aiming to use traditional martial arts to quickly finish Baki. Baki understood and responded with a similar stance. This match of Tai Chi-like pushing hands tested their reaction speeds, where a single mistake could mean defeat. As the fight began, Baki's superior reaction speed instantly pushed Lee Kao back. Realizing this, Lee Kao decided to go all out, planning to use his ultimate poison hand to end Baki. In a barrage of relentless attacks, Lee Kao's fists pounded Baki hundreds of times, even causing his fists to smoke. To everyone's surprise, the poison on his hands vanished, having been fully absorbed into Baki's body. Stubbornly, Baki tried to counterattack, but Lee Kao, knowing the fight was over, abandoned his defense. Just as expected, the poison took effect in 3 seconds, causing Baki to spew blood before collapsing in a rain of his own blood. As his life force drained away, the former strongest high schooler lay defeated in the arena. For Baki, this might be considered a fitting end. His only regret was not having defeated his father, Yuujiro. Watching her lover lying lifeless, Koja recalled their joyful times together, and tears streamed down her face uncontrollably. In stark contrast to Koja's sorrow, Yuujiro smiled eerily. The next moment, Baki, who had been declared dead, miraculously stood up. This scene left everyone bewildered. It turned out that this was all thanks to Lee Kao, whose poison hand technique originated from the same master as Ryuko Yanagi's. However, the techniques they practiced were entirely different. The first 7 volumes, known as the Yin Hand, were brought to Japan from China during the Ming Dynasty. For centuries, only ninjas were qualified to train in them. The remaining 5 volumes, the Yang Hand, stayed in China. Now, with both poisons in Baki's body, they achieved a balance of yin and yang, neutralizing each other through the principle of using poison to fight poison. Revitalized, Baki felt power surging through his entire body. On the other hand, Lee Kao, having exhausted all his trump cards, became nothing more than a punching bag for Baki's fury. Not only were his fingers shattered, but Baki's powerful punch also knocked him out cold. Do you know how much the Japanese love Chinese cuisine? Just look at Baki's expression right now. Baki's unexpected words of gratitude made Kairetsu blush. Fatherly love is like a mountain, and his love for Baki even surpassed that of Yuujiro Hanma. Seeing his homemade food being so enjoyed by Baki, old father Kairetsu felt deeply gratified. In just a few minutes, Baki devoured all the food in front of him, his belly round like a pregnant woman in her 3rd trimester. However, Baki's body, severely weakened by poison, needed more than just food. Kairetsu brought a large bucket of water, a full 10 liters, which was the minimum amount Baki needed to consume. Kairetsu then took out a jar of ancestral candy and poured it into the water, stirring it by hand until it was mixed evenly. Looking at the 14 liters of sugary water, Baki hesitated briefly but chose to trust Kairetsu. He lifted the bucket and began drinking in large gulps. As the sugary water entered Baki's body, a miracle occurred. The cells, weakened by poison and overuse, absorbed the energy from the sugary water frantically. With accelerated metabolism, Baki's body began to recover at an observable speed. Soon, the entire resting room was filled with heat, indicating that the strongest high schooler was about to be reborn. Baki suddenly leaped into the air, and a blinding golden light erupted from within him. Baki was fully revived. Meanwhile, in the hallway behind the arena, 2 supreme fighters met. One was the world's strongest creature, Yuujiro Hanma, and the other was the revered Chinese martial artist, Kao Kaku. As the champion of the tournament a century ago, his strength was unquestionable. Even facing Yuujiro Hanma, Kao Kaku mocked him, calling him trash. Yuujiro merely smiled faintly, clearly not taking Kao Kaku seriously. Little did he know that the upcoming battle would be a severe blow to Yujiro's pride. A 146-year-old elder versus a 25-year-old Kao. What seemed like a one-sided match turned into a showcase of the elder's prowess. The gap between Kao and Kaio was as vast as a chasm. As the fight began, Samwon attacked first, launching a vicious kick at Kao Kaku, but this seemingly unavoidable attack only knocked off Kao Kaku's glasses. Samwon was momentarily stunned, then felt a chill on his back as Kao Kaku, in front of tens of thousands of spectators, pulled down Samwon's shorts. Next, he used his signature move, the flick, on Samwon's groin. The next moment, the great Kao fell to the ground clutching his groin in pain. Today's match would likely haunt him for life. After the match, reporters crowded the entrance, all eager to know if Ko Kaku's flick contained some hidden powerful force. The answer they received was disappointing. Ko Kaku had used the commonly known technique, the flick to the forehead. In his view, whether a child, woman, or elderly person, as long as they could perfectly grasp the timing, even the simplest move could defeat a formidable opponent. This, he believed, was the essence of martial arts. However, Samwon did not think so. Losing the match in such a humiliating way, with his pants pulled down in front of tens of thousands of spectators, left him utterly enraged. Just then, Yuujiro Hanma suddenly appeared, mercilessly mocking Samwon. "Your performance is pathetic," he sneered. Already on the verge of a breakdown, Samwon couldn't hold back any longer and charged at Yuujiro, ready to fight. The fifth match of the Great Chinese Tournament featured the death row inmate Dorian vs Yang Ko, but unexpectedly, an incident occurred before the match even started. Observant spectators noticed something was wrong with Dorian. He looked dazed and kept staring at the candy on the ground. After the fight in Tokyo, Dorian had been rendered mentally impaired by a single punch from his comrade, the Kairetsu. This news had not reached China, so the organizers had still invited Dorian to participate. Dorian, now with the mentality of a 3-year-old, stood no chance against his opponent's powerful attacks. As expected, the match ended with a complete victory for Yang Ko. Just as Oliva was about to take Dorian away, the victorious Yang Ko aggressively taunted Dorian, calling his skills trash and unworthy of the KO title. He declared that unless Dorian showed his true strength, neither of them would leave the arena. Oliva, hearing this, got excited. "You want to fight? I'll be your opponent." Yang Ko felt disdainful. Seeing Oliva as a brute with no real skill, he believed his superior defense would easily counter a strength-based fighter like Oliva. However, when Oliva grabbed Yang Ko's arm with terrifying strength, Yang Ko realized he had no choice but to accept the challenge. The scene shifted quickly to the setup for the battle between these two powerhouses. As the battle was about to begin, Yang Ko tore off his clothes, revealing his proud, muscular body. Confident in his abilities, he believed his diamond fist and iron body technique, similar to the Golden Bell Shield, made his body impervious to attacks after decades of inhuman training. His skin could withstand bullets and even cannons. With overwhelming confidence, he assumed his stance and boasted, "I'll let you strike 3 times first." Little did he know, his arrogance would cost him dearly. This terrifying scene sent chills down the spines of all the spectators, but made Yuujiro laugh out loud. Indeed, in the face of absolute power, any defense is futile. With his strength fully restored, Baki was eager to fight the strongest, and his first target was his father, Yuujiro Hanma. However, when Yuujiro heard his son wanted to challenge him again, his face showed nothing but disdain. "You want to challenge me? Have you forgotten how I crushed you 4 years ago?" Seeing his father completely dismiss his challenge, Baki immediately resorted to verbal provocation. Yuujiro, enraged, decided to teach his son a lesson. He grabbed Baki and slammed him into the wall with terrifying force, shocking Baki. But it wasn't over. Yuujiro then threw his son away like trash. As Baki was sent flying by Yujiro's punch, his first thought wasn't about his injuries, but about his father's strength. Feeling a twisted sense of pride in being Yujiro's son, gathering his courage, Baki prepared to continue the fight, but Yuujiro had already disappeared. Baki realized that perhaps his father didn't consider him worthy as an opponent. With the father-son battle just over, the 6th match of the Great Tournament began. The competitors were Chen Ko from China versus Ji Ko from Japan. As soon as the match started, Chen Ko went all out, delivering 2 powerful punches that sent Ji Ko flying dozens of meters. Seeing his opponent's formidable strength, Ji Ko made a shocking move. He actually invited Chen Ko to Japan for teaching in front of the entire audience. Chen Ko responded with action, but little did he know it was all part of Ji Ko's scheme. Pretending to invite him was just a ploy to distract his opponent so he could use hypnosis. The next second, Ji Ko seized the moment and grabbed Chen Ko, executing an over-the-shoulder throw and pinning him to the ground. With a slight twist of his arm, Ji Ko broke Chen Ko's arm. As the bell rang to signal the end of the match, Ji Ko was declared the victor of the 6th bout, while others fought barehanded. This guy wore 10 large gold rings. Little did they know these gold rings had a significant purpose. Sun Kai's Jeet Kune Do required an immense amount of finger strength. Almost every Jeet Kune Do practitioner had incredibly powerful fingers. They would only unlock this power when facing a strong opponent. Seeing his opponent ready, Kairetsu roared and quickly approached. Eager to test his opponent's famed finger strength, Kairetsu had this desire because of Kaoru Hanayama, a man who could tear a deck of cards with his fingers alone. After a brief exchange, Kairetsu realized that Sun Kaiu's finger strength was pathetic, using only 30% of his strength. Sun Kaiu fell to the ground, screaming in pain. Compared to Kaoru Hanayama, he was simply not worth comparing. Such poor skill, yet he was given the title of Kaiu. It seems the selection criteria for Kaiu have indeed been watered down. With a casual move, Kairetsu ended the match dramatically after defeating Sun Kaiu. Despite winning the match, Kairetsu felt deeply worried about the inconsistent skill levels of the Kaius. Ko Kaku also shared this disappointment. After 7 rounds, all foreign fighters advanced while only 2 hosts advanced. Such a poor performance made this elder angry for the first time in a century. He decided to severely punish the administrators, or Chinese martial arts would decline. Ko Kaku demanded the 3 martial arts elders extend their right hands, and then a sharp long nail instantly fell. Ko Kaku's hand came down, and the 3 elders became disabled instantly. To him, the administrator's corruption was the main reason for the defeat. To achieve his goal, he couldn't rely on a bunch of half-baked Kaius. He had to rely on strong foreign aid to form a national team, which was their only hope. These 2 were Ko Kaku's son Guochengqing and Long Shuwen, who had been undefeated for 30 years. They formed a national team and continued to fight. A Kaiu on the side expressed dissatisfaction. Ko Kaku slowly approached and, with a casual punch, knocked the person unconscious. The useless have no right to compete. Upon hearing this news, Yuujiro and his group of 5 were shocked and refused. But when they heard the 2 newcomers were the fierce Guochengqing and the formidable Long Shuwen, Yuujiro got excited and immediately agreed to their request. However, Yuujiro, who seemed disdainful in public, became very serious in private. He knew well that Chinese martial arts were profound and that this joint battle would be a tough one. Soon, the first match of the Sino-Foreign Masters tournament began. The American representative, Oliva, took the stage, and the Chinese competitor's entry was even more grand. There he was, dressed in white and sitting cross-legged, the martial arts champion of China, Long Shuwen. Long Shuwen started training at 9, won the Taiwan tournament at 25, and had a 30-year undefeated streak. He was a renowned figure in Chinese martial arts. As the match began, Oliva tore off his shirt, revealing his muscular body. However, this sight, which would be impressive to most people, didn't interest Long Shuwen at all. With his hands in his pockets, he had already gauged his opponent's strength and didn't even bother to look at Oliva. Facing Oliva's advancing steps, he maintained a nonchalant expression. Oliva didn't waste time and swung a heavy punch. Instantly, the arena was filled with smoke, and the tremendous force shattered the floor. Yet, even so, Long Shuwen blocked the attack with one hand while keeping the other hand in his pocket. Unfazed, Oliva attacked again, but this time Long Shuwen dodged quickly, counterattacked, and then put his hands back in his pockets. The smoothness of his movements stunned Oliva. Even more shocking was that his bulletproof muscle was cut by Long Shuwen. Long Shuwen's stance seemed full of openings, but his attacks were very unpredictable. He could perfectly dodge Oliva's attacks and counterattack immediately. After each move, he would put his hands back in his pockets, leaving Oliva dizzy. While Oliva tried to figure out Long Shuwen's attack pattern, Yuujiro noticed something. Long Shuwen's hands in his pockets concealed the technique of draw hands. At the moment of the enemy's attack, Long Shuwen's seemingly casual stance actually had his hands fully charged with energy in his pockets, so no matter how the opponent attacked, Long Shuwen's drawing speed would always be faster. While the Hanma father and son pondered how to counter draw hands, Oliva found the perfect solution. After 2 rounds of probing, he did a somersault and then put his hands in his pockets. Mimicking Long Shuwen, Oliva's move enraged the audience, and Long Shuwen's face turned blue with anger. Fury surged within him, and he abandoned the pocket hand technique, launching a fierce combo attack on Oliva. Despite being beaten and bleeding, Oliva didn't immediately counterattack. Since he couldn't match Long Shuwen's draw speed, he decided to end the fight in his own way. His powerful fists hit Long Shuwen, collapsing the floor and knocking Long Shuwen unconscious. Oliva's dominant victory stunned Yuujiro. As everyone thought the match was over, Long Shuwen suddenly stood up, his eyes filled with coldness. Both men put their hands in their pockets and stood in the arena. Starting a pocket hand duel, Long Shuwen moved first, his quick combo making Oliva feel pain. Although the attacks were deadly, Oliva didn't retaliate. Finally, seizing the perfect opportunity as Long Shuwen attacked, Oliva grabbed his head and smashed his nose with a headbutt. Blood gushed like a fountain. Despite the severe injury, Long Shuwen didn't flinch and struck Oliva's abdomen with a knife hand. But Oliva's muscles were like metal, breaking all 5 fingers on contact. Long Shuwen was shocked but continued to attack with his other hand. What a pity! The result was the same with his fingers breaking again. Oliva's muscles are invincible. He can even play tug-of-war with a helicopter. After countless days of superhuman training, there's no doubt that Oliva's muscle strength is the best in the world. Oliva headbutt Long Shuwen again, breaking half his face this time. Even so, Long Shuwen lived up to his name as a champion of Chinese martial arts. Despite all 10 fingers being broken, Long Shuwen mustered his last breath and attacked Oliva. This earned Oliva's respect, and he chose to use his full power to honor Long Shuwen. As the bell rang, signaling the end of the match, the bloodied Long Shuwen still kept his hands in his pockets until the very end. Although his draw hands technique was impeccable, it was powerless against Oliva's monstrous muscles. With a defeat in the first match, the Chinese team was under immense pressure. The hope of winning the championship was shattered, and the presence of a terrifying fighter like Yuujiro loomed over them. If they lost 2 more matches, the title of Kaiyo would be relinquished, an outcome unacceptable to everyone, especially Kyokaku. Kyokaku, the pinnacle of Chinese martial arts, was determined to fight 4 opponents if needed to keep the Kaiyo title in China. At that moment, Guo Chunqing volunteered to fight, determined to defeat all 4 opponents by himself to save the Kaiyo title for the Chinese team. Seeing his son's bravery, Kyokaku was filled with pride and agreed immediately. As the battle was about to begin, Kaiyoretsu seriously warned Guo Chunqing not to underestimate his opponent. His opponent was none other than Baki, the peak young fighter from Japan, perhaps as the offspring of strong fighters. The two shared a strong connection with just a glance. With the start of the match, Guo Chunqing's adrenaline surged, and he swung a powerful punch at Baki. Baki effortlessly dodged with a slight move and countered with a heavy punch to Guo Chunqing's jaw. The force of the blow caused a severe collision between his brain and skull, resulting in a severe concussion that knocked Guo Chunqing out instantly. However, Baki did not stop there. He delivered an uppercut to Guo Chunqing's injured jaw. Finally, as Guo Chunqing was falling, Baki followed with a brutal kick that completely knocked him out. In just 2 seconds, the promising young fighter suffered a devastating defeat. This shocking scene plunged the entire arena into dead silence. With 2 consecutive losses, the Chinese team was on the brink of defeat. Kyokaku pinned all his hopes on Kaiyoretsu. Understanding the gravity of the upcoming fight, Kaiyoretsu vowed to win back a victory for China, even if it cost him his life. His opponent was from Japan. As the match began, a Sino-Japanese showdown officially started. Kaiyoretsu assumed a stance, ready to fight, but his opponent extended a hand in friendship. Kaiyoretsu was momentarily surprised, but, being from a nation known for its etiquette, he reciprocated. In the next moment, Shikeo's fake handshake turned into an attack, a move of utmost treachery. But Kaiyoretsu, experienced with many battles, was well prepared. With a powerful burst of strength from his waist and abdomen, he easily threw Shikeo several meters away. Shikeo was stunned, clearly taken aback by Kaiyoretsu's strength. Shikeo's treacherous move angered the crowd, and the arena was filled with their curses. Yet Shikeo remained unfazed, even extending his right hand again under the spectators' gazes. Despite knowing it was likely another trap, Kaiyoretsu, embodying the demeanor of a true warrior, shook his hand again. This earned Shikeo's grudging respect, but his attacks remained ruthless. He gripped Kaiyoretsu's joints, trying to end the match that way. Kaiyoretsu anticipated this and unleashed a burst of strength, slamming Shikeo to the ground. Shikeo barely protected his head to survive the impact. After 2 failed sneak attacks, any normal person would have lost the will to fight, but Shikeo shamelessly extended his hand for a 3rd time. Facing a 0-2 deficit, the Chinese team needed a win to boost morale, so Kaiyoretsu chose to defeat his opponent in his own domain. Despite knowing it was a trap, Kaiyoretsu shook his hand for the 3rd time. Their faces remained calm, but they secretly competed in grip strength. In the next moment, Kaiyoretsu increased his force, sending Shikeo flying. Seizing the opportunity, Kaiyoretsu launched a powerful punch at Shikeo. Though Shikeo was bleeding profusely, he clung tightly to Kaiyoretsu. He was waiting for a chance. As a top Japanese karate master, he excelled in surprise attacks. With lightning speed, Shikeo pinned Kaiyoretsu to the ground, using his limbs to lock him in a deadly hold. A series of bone-breaking sounds echoed through the arena, leaving the audience speechless. No one expected GKO to respond to Kairetsu's repeated trust with such vicious attacks. GKO's despicable actions enraged the spectators, who rushed to the ring to fight him. Seeing the situation getting out of control, Kairetsu's shout calmed the crowd. As Chinese man, we can't use numbers to bully the weak. A mere broken arm won't affect the final outcome. Kairetsu's formidable presence intimidated everyone, and the match resumed. In the next second, Kairetsu closed the distance and followed with a lightning-fast whip kick. GKO had no time to react, and one of his hands was severely injured. However, Kairetsu's leg techniques are far more formidable, as a fighter second only to KO Kaku in strength. Kairetsu's toe strength alone is terrifying, grabbing GKO's fingers and with a slight force. GKO was tossed aside like garbage. Absolutely terrifying. GKO's despicable tactics caused Kairetsu immense pain, even breaking one of his arms. Despite having a broken arm, Kairetsu used his powerful leg techniques to turn the tide. A series of ferocious kicks left his opponent defenseless. Kairetsu's incredible strength excited GKO, who disregarded his injuries and resumed fighting Kairetsu. The two were evenly matched, the battle balanced by Kairetsu's loss of an arm, yet GKO did not repent, soon resorting to underhanded tactics again, taking advantage of a gap in Kairetsu's attack. GKO grabbed his ankle. Instantly, Kairetsu felt excruciating pain. GKO had grabbed a nerve cluster, a slight squeeze causing immense pain. Kairetsu's vision blurred and he lost balance, giving GKO the chance to kick him in the head. Just as Kairetsu was about to fall, a strong foot shot out, grabbing GKO's beard. With a loud snap, a handful of GKO's beard was ripped off, being defeated twice by his opponent's toes and losing his prized beard. GKO was utterly humiliated. When everyone expected GKO to make a final desperate attack, he did something surprising. Ignoring the crowd's insults, GKO extended his right hand for the fourth time. Believing that Kairetsu was a true martial arts master, he admitted his previous tactics were wrong. He offered to help reattach Kairetsu's broken arm as an apology. Seeing the sincerity in GKO's eyes, Kairetsu didn't hesitate and chose to trust him again. This time, GKO kept his word, and Kairetsu's arm was soon as good as new. Ready for another round, GKO took his stance. Kairetsu didn't opt for mercy, believing the highest respect a martial artist could give was to defeat his opponent honorably. Kairetsu's fists moved like a relentless torrent, his suppressed anger finally unleashed. A kick sent GKO flying, and Kairetsu rushed forward to end the match. In a last-ditch effort, GKO threw a powerful punch, but Kairetsu easily blocked it. When everyone thought the match was over, GKO revealed his trump card, the Ninja Turtle technique, curling into a ball, exposing only his hard back. He waited for his opponent's attack. Though it seemed full of weaknesses, it was deadly. As the birthplace of this technique, GKO had mastered it to perfection. When faced with a strong opponent, GKO would curl up, endure the attacks, and strike back when the opponent was exhausted. Suddenly, blood sprayed as Kairetsu's nose was broken. Facing such a cunning move, Kairetsu's anger flared uncontrollably. He vowed to shatter that turtle shell. The iron fists rained down like a violent storm once again. Who could have expected GKO's back defense to be so formidable? He withstood hundreds of heavy blows without a scratch. At this moment, Kairetsu paused his attack, looking ahead calmly, silently contemplating his next move. In the next second, Kairetsu moved. He slowly placed one hand on GKO's back, and then delivered a short punch directly to his spine. Though not powerful, this punch precisely broke through GKO's defense. GKO's body reflexively stood up. By the time he realized, it was too late. Without his defense, GKO was like a lamb to the slaughter. With Kairetsu's merciless heavy punch, the match ended. In the resting room, GKO sincerely apologized to everyone. Due to his defeat, the coalition's hope of winning the championship was shattered. However, no one overly blamed GKO, as his opponent was the incredibly strong Kairetsu. Such a performance was already quite remarkable. Meanwhile, the next match was confirmed: Fan Kai vs Elite Jr., the boxing champion. Both fighters were in the resting room, doing their final warm-up exercises. Compared to Fan Kai's wide and sweeping attacks, Elite Jr.'s strikes were as graceful as a dancer's. However, beauty often hides danger. As the match began, Elite Jr., like an untamed beast, delivered a fierce karate chop to Fan Kai's face. The chop left a deep, blood-red gash, with blood gushing out like a spring. For a Sea King to suffer such a severe wound was a great humiliation. Fan Kaiyu secretly vowed to make his opponent regret it. He launched 2 vicious whip kicks. Alai Jr. narrowly dodged by turning sideways. Although he missed, Fan Kaiyu was confident. He knew that while a boxer's footwork had speed advantages, the drawback was evident: they could only attack with their hands, making their attack range inferior to traditional martial arts. As long as he kept using whip kicks, Alai Jr. would have no chance of winning. But was that really the case? Perhaps Fan Kaiyu never expected Alai Jr.'s answer to come as his heavy punch landed. With a powerful stomp, Alai Jr.'s right punch's strength increased exponentially. Yes, boxers also have leg techniques. They can maximize their explosive power with a stomp, delivering a fatal blow. Despite the severe injury, Fan Kaiyu stood up, enduring the pain, determined to fight again. Alai Jr., impressed, got ready to continue, but in the next second, Fan Kaiyu, whose body had reached its limit, suddenly collapsed. Thus, Alai Jr. secured another victory for the coalition. The final match was the ultimate showdown everyone was waiting for: the pinnacle of China, Keikaku, versus the world's strongest, Yuujiro Hanma. In his youth, Keikaku had trained his strength to the extreme. With muscles capable of defeating anything in seconds, Keikaku had conquered the martial world without meeting a worthy opponent. However, when he intended to challenge the Shaolin Temple, the sacred place of martial artists, he was ruthlessly defeated by an unremarkable-looking monk with superior martial skills. From that day, Keikaku gave up physical training and started studying martial techniques daily, abandoning the pursuit of strength. Keikaku grew thinner. Fortunately, he gained a profound understanding of punch techniques. At the age of 90, he perfectly fused skill and power, becoming the true supreme master in the martial arts world. Today, Keikaku faced Yuujiro Hanma, who also revered ultimate strength. It seemed like a cycle of time, the ultimate power versus the ultimate technique. Who would emerge victorious? As the match bell rang, the two titans locked eyes, but the anticipated fierce battle didn't occur. Yuujiro, like a caring companion, began pushing the wheelchair-bound Keikaku for a walk. Keikaku shared his story of giving up strength with Yuujiro. Yuujiro was instantly excited upon hearing this. He also wanted to know if his obsession with strength could defeat Keikaku. In a split second, Keikaku's explosive force shattered the wheelchair into pieces. As Keikaku landed gracefully, Yuujiro took his stance, ready for battle. With a swing of his arm, Yuujiro's terrifying punch wind felt as heavy as a mountain to the spectators. Yuujiro unleashed his full power, launching a punch as powerful as a nuclear bomb towards Keikaku. To everyone's surprise, Keikaku was unafraid, leaping and spinning several times in the air before landing gracefully as the iron fist came down. Yuujiro then charged forward again, delivering a lightning-fast whip kick aimed at Keikaku's face, too quick for the naked eye to see. This time, even the mighty Keikaku couldn't dodge, and his jaw was broken on the spot. However, the next moment Keikaku's action shocked everyone present. He lightly shook his jaw and then snapped it back into place, perfectly healed. This astonishing scene left Baki dumbfounded. Only Kairetsu, with a serious expression, understood the reason. This move was one of Keikaku's special techniques, the force dissipation. Seeing his opponent unharmed was a blatant provocation to the strongest creature. Yuujiro increased his power several times and delivered a downward whip kick straight to Keikaku's face, hitting him squarely. Such terrifying power would have killed an ordinary person instantly. But for the pinnacle of China, Keikaku, it was just a minor injury. Keikaku's force dissipation technique neutralized both of Yuujiro's attacks. Even Yuujiro couldn't help but marvel at this incredible skill. It's known that when a person encounters danger, their body instinctively hardens muscles for defense. However, the essence of the force dissipation technique is the exact opposite. Before delivering a powerful attack, one must overcome the body's instinct through training, achieving a relaxed state to unleash power beyond the limit. But this seemingly flawless technique seemed insignificant to Yuujiro. He knew that as long as one was human, they couldn't completely overcome instincts. Even a single hair being pulled would trigger the body's defense mechanism. As Keikaku's hair was pulled, his defense mechanism was instantly triggered. Unable to execute the force dissipation, Keikaku was sent flying by Yuujiro's punch. Seeing his technique quickly countered by Yuujiro, Keikaku was amazed by his opponent's strength and launched a counterattack. A seemingly casual punch contained terrifying power, causing Yuujiro to instinctively dodge. The audience was baffled, wondering why Yuujiro, who seemed to have the upper hand, suddenly changed his approach. In the next second, Keikaku unleashed a punch with monstrous power. Keiokaku then raised his right fist again. A light strike instantly sent Yuujiro flying, following up with a slow whip kick. The fierce impact sent Yuujiro flying again. After retreating dozens of meters, Yuujiro barely stabilized himself, but Keiokaku's attack was right behind him. After 3 consecutive heavy hits, almost everyone believed Keiokaku would win, but Yuujiro's counterattack left everyone speechless. He blocked Keiokaku's finishing blow with the same force dissipation technique. The duel reached a fever pitch, with Yuujiro deeply impressed by Keiokaku's technique. However, despite several strikes, Yuujiro suffered no substantial damage. Keiokaku on the battlefield sensed something amiss. Yuujiro had learned his force dissipation technique. Knowing this, Keiokaku was instantly excited, taking his stance, eager to see Yuujiro's use of the technique. Unexpectedly, Yuujiro expressed disdain, stating he had no need to use it. He wanted to defeat his opponent honorably in his own way. Yuujiro began gathering power, his muscles like metal, containing earth-shattering strength. With a roar, Yuujiro slammed his explosive fist onto the ground, shattering the vast arena instantly. Yuujiro, fully unleashed, sent Keiokaku flying with a single punch. To Yuujiro, techniques like force dissipation were worthless. Only ultimate strength was the creed of a true warrior. However, Keiokaku, living up to his title as China's strongest, neutralized Yuujiro's attack with his force dissipation and nonchalantly sent Yuujiro flying with a swift kick. Seeing his opponent withstand his attack, the battle-enthused Yuujiro increased his power again. Charging forward, he landed a heavy punch on Keiokaku's face. Keiokaku spun rapidly in place from the impact, but despite using force dissipation to counterattack, Yuujiro's strength kept increasing. Finally, Keiokaku's force dissipation reached its limit, and he was slammed into the wall twice by Yuujiro. Facing another heavy punch from Yuujiro, Keiokaku abandoned force dissipation and engaged in a direct brawl. This attack method successfully knocked Yuujiro down, but Keiokaku also suffered severe internal injuries, barely maintaining his fighting strength. Meanwhile, Yuujiro slowly spread his arms, his clothes tearing as his muscles appeared. Even the mighty Keiokaku was astonished. Without a doubt, the power in those muscles was earth-shattering. Indeed, with one punch, Yuujiro embedded Keiokaku into the wall, truly terrifying. As Yuujiro approached, Keiokaku seemed calm, but inwardly he was immensely excited. For 100 years, he had trained day and night for this moment. Who would have thought that even against Yuujiro at his peak of speed and power, Keiokaku could launch such a fierce offensive? Blood poured onto the ground, and Yuujiro's body was covered in shocking wounds. Yet, Yuujiro stood motionless, hands in his pockets. He knew his muscle strength could withstand modern firearms. No human could inflict a fatal wound on him, not even the mighty Keiokaku. Keiokaku, driven mad, unleashed all his fury on Yuujiro. Despite enduring hundreds of attacks, Yuujiro remained unharmed, while Keiokaku was exhausted and unable to continue fighting. At this moment, Yuujiro slowly withdrew his hands and delivered a palm strike to Keiokaku, causing a fountain of blood. Keiokaku's pupils dilated as he lost consciousness. Yuujiro gathered power for a punch capable of killing any creature, aiming straight at Keiokaku's face. However, Yuujiro's punch strangely halted mid-air, as if witnessing something terrifying. It turned out that Keiokaku, standing there, had stopped breathing. Yes, a great warrior had died with unfulfilled regret. Keiokaku died, maintaining his fighting stance to the very end. As China's pinnacle grandmaster, it was unexpected for him to end this way. Even though the doctors confirmed Keiokaku's death, Yuujiro refused to believe it. As the world's strongest creature, Yuujiro, like Keiokaku, yearned for a truly powerful opponent. Finally meeting someone equally strong, the real battle ended before it even began. Yuujiro suppressed his impending rage and walked away with a heavy heart. However, as everyone mourned Keiokaku's passing, an astonishing scene unfolded. The supposedly dead Keiokaku revived once more. Keiokaku had used a secret technique to feign death. He did this knowing that if he took his opponent's full-force blow, he would undoubtedly die instantly. So, Keiokaku feigned death to end the match. In his view, as long as he died naturally before the match ended, there would be no true winner. Without a winner, it meant he didn't lose. Keiokaku's words taught a valuable lesson. Being able to walk away unscathed from a fight to the death is the real victory. On the other side, Yuujiro, feeling despondent, drowned his sorrows in alcohol. That night, Yuujiro went alone to the arena, contemplating amidst the rubble. At that moment, Keiokaku appeared, Facing the resurrected Keikaku, Yuujiro remained calm. They locked eyes and talked at length. Reflecting on the day's battle, Keikaku admitted his thoughts. He had dominated the martial arts world for 100 years, and now he had to acknowledge his age. Yuujiro deserved the title of Sea King, but Yuujiro refused this supreme honor. What he wanted wasn't the title of Sea King but an opponent who could match him. Keikaku stopped Yuujiro as he was about to leave, inviting him to a rematch in 100 years. Thus, the Great Chinese Tournament concluded with a centennial promise between two peerless warriors. Surely, the next battle will be even more spectacular. On another note, Baki, after this experience, not only successfully detoxified but also realized the vast gap between him and his father. Upon returning to Tokyo, Baki immediately started intense training, effortlessly completing an ultramarathon. Unexpectedly, Allied Jr. appeared behind him, punching Baki's childhood punching bag and challenging him. However, Baki declined without hesitation, stating that his only opponent was Yuujiro and he wasn't interested in anyone else. Baki left Allied Jr. and walked away. Watching Baki's departing figure, Allied Jr. smiled confidently. Already having a plan in mind, Allied Jr. asked Koju to meet him at a cafe, and she readily accepted the invitation. Initially, their meeting was slightly awkward as Koju knew Allied Jr. had feelings for her. Seeing Koju's feigned shyness, Allied Jr. didn't hold back, directly proposing marriage to her. Surprised by the sudden proposal, Koju immediately refused, but Allied Jr. didn't give up, showering her with compliments. Their encounter seemed like a match made in heaven. As Allied Jr. continued, he finally kissed Koju on the cheek. Afterwards, he left, leaving Koju bewildered. Koju touched her cheek, feeling a strange excitement from the kiss. After teasing Koju, Allied Jr. set his sights on another important person to Baki, Shibukawa. The new boxing champion against the veteran master. An epic battle was about to begin. The fight was imminent. Shibukawa suddenly attacked like a fierce tiger. Before Allied Jr. could react, Shibukawa grabbed his wrist and slammed him to the ground. With a swift motion, he effortlessly lifted Allied Jr. Then, with a casual throw, Allied Jr. was tossed aside like garbage. In just 3 seconds, boxing champion Allied Jr. experienced a crushing defeat before the martial saint. Even so, Ali Jr. is fully confident in his own strength. Although the history of boxing is only 100 years long, the flaws of boxing have already been improved during the careers of boxing champions. At his peak, the boxing champion even created a terrifying record of a 0.1 second single punch. It was thought that this record would never be broken, but 18 years later, Ali Jr.'s innate talent awakened, and his punching speed even surpassed that of his father. The lightning-fast punch knocked out a martial arts saint instantly, who didn't even have time to react. The scene shifts to Baki and Koju enjoying their sweet time together. Recalling Ali Jr.'s heartfelt confession during the day, Koju felt a bit excited. Seeing his girlfriend so happy, Baki curiously asked what happened. In response, Koju didn't answer directly but asked Baki how he would feel if she got married. Baki was stunned for a moment, then said he would feel uneasy, but the final decision would be up to Koju. Hearing Baki's response, Koju immediately remembered that Ali Jr. had said the same thing. Faced with two equally outstanding men, her heart wavered a bit. With Shibukawa's defeat, Ali Jr. won his first match. Soon, he set his sights on another martial arts master, Dappo. Seeing the familiar footwork in front of him, Dappo's thoughts turned to his old rival, the boxing champion. Upon learning that his opponent was the boxing champion's son, Dappo's fighting spirit surged, and the battle was imminent. Unexpectedly, Ali Jr.'s lightning punch was so fast that even someone as strong as Dappo couldn't react and was hit directly, causing a nosebleed. At first, Dappo thought it was just a moment of carelessness, but within 3 seconds, he was knocked down again by Ali Jr.'s punch. This time, even he had to admit that Ali Jr.'s strength had surpassed his father's. However, just relying on this was far from enough to defeat him. Dappo, who stood up again, seemed like a different person. His powerful aura even made the surrounding air feel heavy. And Dappo's transformation was not just about his aura. Ali Jr. was puzzled as to why his punches always fell half a step short. Dappo patiently explained that when he stood up for the second time, the change in his aura triggered a crisis warning in Ali Jr.'s body. It was like a sparring session escalating into a life and death duel, where Ali Jr.'s punches subconsciously shortened under the pressure of such a powerful aura. Understanding the problem, Ali Jr. quickly adjusted his state and launched another attack. Seeing this, Dappo formed a circular defense with his hands, blocking the attack, and then moved swiftly to try to take down his opponent. Unexpectedly, at the critical moment, Ali Jr. dodged the attack and countered with a lightning punch that landed squarely on Dappo's face. As he fell, Dappo seemed to recall the feeling of being defeated by Yuujiro in the past. That sense of defeat was like being gnawed by thousands of ants all over his body. Unstoppable, Ali Jr. finally decided to challenge that man. Now, Ali Jr.'s confidence had obviously swelled to the extreme, and he even found Baki, who was enjoying time with Koju, in front of the main character. He boldly declared his intention to marry Koju. It seemed like he didn't take Baki seriously at all. Unexpectedly, Baki didn't care, and he left the final decision to Koju. This move confused Koju, who asked if she really had the choice. Seeing the hesitation in Koju's heart, Ali Jr. knew his goal was achieved. Soon, he set his sights on Baki's brother, Jack. When Ali Jr. arrived, Jack was calm. After easily finishing a few pounds of steak, the two agreed to a duel in a secluded underground passage. The battle was imminent. Jack suddenly launched an attack, and Ali Jr. dodged with a jump, countering with a powerful punch that landed solidly. Then, the two engaged in the most primal form of close-quarters combat, neither giving an inch. Although Ali Jr.'s punching speed was astonishing, Jack's body strength was simply monstrous. Despite taking dozens of heavy punches, he remained unscathed. In contrast, a light kick from Jack sent Ali Jr. crying out in pain. Speed, strength, and defense all at monster levels. Such terrifying strength, and yet he was still Baki's defeated opponent. Facing Jack's relentless pressure, Ali Jr. mustered all his strength and delivered a full-force punch, but it still couldn't shake Jack. Jack grabbed Ali Jr. and, with a roar, slammed him into the ground. With a loud bang, Ali Jr. collapsed and lost his fighting ability. Looking at Jack, who was like a grim reaper, Ali Jr. could only wait for torment like a lamb. His entire face was stomped flat by Jack's foot. Seeing that Ali Jr. was on the brink of death, Jack felt bored and was about to leave. Unexpectedly, Ali Jr., like an unkillable cockroach, dragged his severely injured body and got up again. Seeing this, Jack became interested and launched a powerful punch. Surprisingly, Ali Jr. still had the strength to counterattack. This time, Jack was really angry. After a series of heavy punches, Ali Jr. was slammed against the wall and completely lost his strength. Finally, Jack mustered all his strength and delivered another heavy punch. The tongue-tied Ali Jr.'s tongue was even split in two. 5 days later, Ali Jr., covered in bandages, went on a date with Koju. He knew that Koju had a magical ability to make a person visibly stronger, but when Koju saw Ali Jr.'s split tongue, she immediately expressed her disappointment and rejection. Being rejected in public, they fell into silence. Fortunately, Shibukawa's appearance eased the awkward atmosphere. After saying goodbye to Koju, they went to the suburbs one after the other. The severely injured Ali Jr. was no match for Shibukawa and was soon knocked down, his life hanging by a thread. Unwilling to give up, Ali Jr. sought out Koju again, but she unhesitatingly rejected him once more. Rejected again, Ali Jr. hadn't yet recovered from his disappointment when Dappo came to find him. Ali Jr. wanted to refuse the fight, claiming his bad condition as an excuse, but Dappo, that old fox, played the moral card, saying that as long as there was an opponent, the fight must continue. Moreover, defeating an opponent in a poor state was the highest honor for a martial artist. With a few words, Dappo completely cut off Ali Jr.'s retreat. Seeing no way out, Ali Jr. endured the pain and forced his broken fingers into a fist. Ready to face Dappo, the battle was imminent. Ali Jr. attacked suddenly, delivering a powerful punch that landed squarely, but to his surprise, Dappo's skull was harder than metal. Just a light touch from Dappo caused Ali Jr.'s hand to break and bleed profusely. Dappo didn't intend to give his opponent any chance to breathe. A series of heavy punches targeted Ali Jr.'s broken hand. In an instant, Ali Jr.'s screams echoed through the streets of Tokyo. After a brief rest, Ali Jr. tore his shirt to make a simple bandage, shouting to boost his morale. In the second round, Dappo's attacks were even more ruthless. Leaping into the air, he feigned an attack on Ali Jr.'s head but aimed at his foot instead. Dappo continued to mock Ali Jr. while mercilessly beating him. Despite his best efforts to resist, Ali Jr., who was covered in injuries, was no match for Dappo. Finally, after Dappo broke his last remaining leg, the one-sided beatdown ended. Satisfied, Dappo turned and left, leaving Ali Jr. alone. Feeling aggrieved and on the verge of tears, after being brutally beaten 3 times in 5 days, Ali Jr., now mummified, lay in bed questioning his life. Unaware that the nightmare was not over, his elderly father, suffering from Parkinson's, came to see Ali Jr. Years ago, he lost a fight to Ali Jr., and this defeat became a great humiliation for Ali Sr. From that day, Ali Sr. dug out his dusty training equipment from the warehouse and, despite the pain of Parkinson's, threw himself back into training. There was no doubt this would be a long and painful process, but after 5 years of rehabilitation training, Ali Sr. finally regained his peak condition. Although his stamina was not what it used to be, Ali Sr. was confident that within 15 rounds, his strength would far surpass his former self. However, hearing that his old man wanted to beat him up, Ali Jr.'s mind was racing, and he immediately told his father that he was in poor condition. Hearing his proud son choose to refuse the fight, Ali Sr. was filled with disappointment. He couldn't believe his son was a coward. To him, a true martial artist doesn't need to worry about time, place, or opponent. Only a loser makes excuses for their condition. Ali Jr., infuriated again, immediately agreed to the duel, but the result was predictable. The severely injured Ali Jr. was no match for his father and was quickly knocked to the ground. In just 5 days, the poor Ali Jr. suffered 4 consecutive defeats. Learning that Baki had finally agreed to the duel, Ali Jr. burst into tears of joy. After all these days of beatings, he finally saw a return on his investment. Under his father's supervision, Ali Jr., ignoring his injuries, began to train desperately. Seeing his son work so hard, Ali Sr. was very gratified. He knew that the human body's potential was limitless, and only under extreme pressure could one break through. At that time, a fully recovered Ali Jr. would be completely reborn. Meanwhile, outside the hotel, an unexpected guest appeared: Yuujiro, the strongest creature on Earth. As soon as Yuujiro appeared, his whole body exuded a terrifying killing intent. The overwhelming pressure made it difficult for the 2 bodyguards to even breathe. Fortunately, Ali Sr. appeared in time to save their lives. Ali Sr. took Yuujiro to the reception room, and after a brief exchange of pleasantries, they talked about the upcoming battle between Ali Jr. and Baki. Yuujiro had full confidence in his son. Although Baki was not yet perfect, his strength was already one of the strongest humans on Earth. Hearing Yuujiro's high praise for Baki, Ali Sr.'s eyes lit up with anticipation for the battle. While the 2 powerhouses were discussing who would be the strongest of the new generation, Ali Jr., newly healed, had his eyes only on Koju. Ali Jr. was angry that the world saw Baki as the strongest of the new generation, while he was merely the boxing champion's son. Ali Jr. swore to himself that he would defeat Baki and reclaim the title of the strongest. He pulled Koju into his arms and said that he wanted both the fame and Koju herself. The grand arena was packed with people as Ali Jr. faced Baki. Both were offspring of strong men, but who would earn the title of the strongest of the new generation? Everyone's eyes were focused on the 2 in the ring. Even the retired champion of 30 years came to watch the battle. No one knew who would win, but it was certain that the victor would have the chance to challenge Yuujiro. With a single punch from Yuujiro shattering the war drum, the historic battle officially began. Baki moved first, each step carrying an unparalleled sense of oppression. Ali Jr. launched a sudden punch, but Baki's speed was evidently faster, leaving only a faint afterimage. Then, a heavy punch landed squarely on Ali Jr.'s face, knocking him unconscious. In just 3 seconds, Baki proved his superior strength to the world. Moments later, as Ali Jr. regained consciousness, he quickly retreated to create distance. Although the previous blow showed him Baki's strength, he knew it wasn't enough to defeat him. After facing 4 strong opponents in 5 days, Ali Jr.'s rich battle experience had truly transformed him. Baki's roundhouse kick landed directly on Ali Jr.'s groin, and the tearing pain instantly swept through his body. However, Baki didn't stop, relentlessly kicking Ali Jr. Even when Ali Jr. lost consciousness, Baki chose to choke him. The veins on his arms bulged, and at this moment, Baki was determined to kill. He knew this was a fight to the death, and only the winner had the right to walk out alive. Ali Jr.'s life force was slowly slipping away. Just then, Ali Sr., the boxing champion, finally intervened, delivering a punch as fast as lightning that sent Baki flying. Faced with Ali Sr.'s sudden interference, Baki remained remarkably calm, because from the beginning, His target was never Ali Jr., Ali Sr. broke the rules to save his son. This meant that Baki would now have the right to face Yuujiro in the strongest battle ever. This was probably the most embarrassing day for Ali Jr., with tears and snot streaming down his face. Even his father, Ali Sr., felt utterly ashamed of such a pitiful sight. Knocked out in front of the entire world by Baki, if not for Ali Sr.'s timely intervention, he might have died in the ring. Baki lived up to expectations, defending his title as the strongest youth, and now had the qualification to challenge Yuujiro. 4 years ago, Baki was a young prodigy who faced Yuujiro's terrifying power and was utterly defeated. His beloved mother also died because of Yuujiro, planting seeds of hatred in Baki's heart. Now, at 18, Baki had endured many hardships and defeated numerous strong opponents, finally gaining the strength to challenge Yuujiro officially. Seeing his son's achievements, Tokugawa immediately arranged for a father-son showdown. News of Yuujiro accepting Baki's challenge quickly spread, causing a stir in Tokyo's martial arts community. Everyone was looking forward to this epic battle. After the match, Koju began to praise the victorious Baki. However, Baki was unmoved, not even glancing at Koju. In Baki's mind, defeating Yuujiro was more important than anything else. Feeling neglected, Koju made an excuse and left. On her way home, she encountered the defeated Ali Jr. Ali Jr. had lost all his previous confidence and was lying on the ground, crying like a child. Seeing this, Koju hurriedly went to comfort him, which only made Ali Jr. cry even harder, despite being covered in his tears and snot. Remembering their past happy times made tears well up in Koju's eyes. Ignoring everything, she pulled Ali Jr. into her arms. On the other side, with the father-son showdown approaching, both Yuujiro and Baki began their final training. So, the question arises, who will win when Baki, with his demon brain, faces Yuujiro, with his demon back?